Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment. Welcome, everyone. This is a sound healing course with Dr. Sujata Singhi, joining us all the way from India. She is a true expert. She has been trained in over 30 healing modalities. She is a sound and spiritual scientist, and she has 5 doctorates. Not only that, she is the author of 3 books, including The Power of Sound and Reclaim Your Riches. Let's welcome Dr. Sujata right here to this platform. Thank you for being here. Namaste.
Namaste, Lauren, and thank you for bringing me on this beautiful platform.
Your work is remarkable. You're trained in over 30 healing modalities, and we're going to learn about healing ourselves with Himalayan bowls and Vedic chants. Tell us about your journey. What got you started on the sound healing path?
When talking about journey, it takes me down to the nostalgic lane of understanding how I got into sound. Being a 4th-generation musician, sound and music was always a part of us. And being trained in Indian classical music, it was something that we thought it was part of life. But there was one episode which was the turning point in my life. By my profession, or I would say I was trained as a master's in business administration. I topped my whole country in the 1992 batch. So everybody thought that I would be joining a corporate, climbing up the ladder, and enjoying life as any person who does an MBA would have. However, in 1992, I decided that at the day of my convocation, when I was given the medal, the first thing which came to me is, do I want to do this? I studied because, yes, I wanted to study, but do I want to continue with this? So something in me said, probably give a chance to yourself, like a second inning with regards to your profession. And I just decided to take some time, a sabbatical basically, from studying further and understand what I really want in life. And that was very transformative. The corporate world did not entice me much. I understood there was something missing. Human beings were more of robots there rather than human beings. We were working, but were we living? That was a big question mark. And in 1993, when I got married, originally from Bangalore, and then I got married and came to Mumbai, it was a transformation for the new place, new people. But yes, there was the thought in my mind that I need to do something which is not what I've been qualified for. That is the corporate world. And in 1996, my sister-in-law had undergone treatments for her cancer, which was acute myeloid leukemia. And for the first time in my life, I saw somebody suffer like this. I had never seen anybody suffer. And it was pathetic. The whole family was, it was a turmoil everywhere. That there was no sense of happiness. And her death was the first death which I witnessed. So that was hitting me really hard. So one question was, why do humans have to suffer? We are not here to suffer. We are here to enjoy life, to create good experiences. And the next thing is, how can I make this suffering lesser for people? So these 2 questions, why do humans suffer? And what can be done to reduce the suffering? Music was my solace always. And there I found that something like music, sound, and maybe the chants, which gives us peace, can be used to help heal and treat people. That is when I learned Reiki for the first time. That is my journey of learning healing modalities. So I learned Reiki for the first time there in 1996. And then it was no looking back. Back to back, I learned many things. But however, my heart was not setting in because somewhere my mind wanted some measurement. It wanted to understand how it works on the human anatomy. So study of human anatomy began, research began. And after 9 long years of research, finally I got my first doctorate, which was with sound and music as a therapy to be used in treatment and healing. So this journey, I would say, is something which has made me understand life in a much deeper sense, made me more connected to my core and live my life purpose. So passion became a purpose, and that is what I am now.
So you're truly living your purpose and going with that energy, and it brings you great things. Again, you just launched your most recent book, Reclaim Your Riches. You are also trained in hypnosis. And so, have you considered or become aware that this is something that you've carried with you in many lifetimes?
Yes, this is a beautiful question you have put up, Lauren, because many a times I keep thinking, why did I do this and why did it come so easily to me, as if it was something within me? And when I enter into a class, I know it is there, and then I lose the interest. But then when I come out, I know that it was all there and becomes more profound. So, yes, it is there. And here I would like to share one life experience, which was my near death experience at the age of 12. That, that really changed me a lot because after that episode of 4 days, that was a massive transformation. When I was back, I couldn't recognize things in the material world. I had lost all interest because that time I was just turning into a teenager. I had lost interest in the material world, and I used to like myself being seated near the window, looking at the birds, being with nature, but not interacting much with humans. But one thing changed a lot in me, that was my ability to learn, ability to grasp, and ability to understand the unknown. This was a major transformation, I would say, which changed my life. And after this, my education, I was a student who was more interested in doing many things rather than just academics. I would like dancing and music and painting and everything. But after this thing, I would do all of that and still be able to do things in a much smoother, easier way. And my grades improved a lot. It was
Wow.
without any effort.
Okay, you just have given me chills because I want to share something with you. I hope that you're open to this and maybe you've considered it already. Something that transformative. And I'm going to ask you about that near death experience and really what went on there into some more of the details. But um, you've just said a couple of things that pique my interest, that you could have done a soul exchange in that near death experience. Have you contemplated or considered that?
I used to think this, but my mother, she's a clairvoyant, and I was a clairvoyant since childhood, clairvoyant and clairsentient at the same time. So what used to happen is, I had a sister who was a year older to me, and she passed on when she was a year old in my mother's lap. So, and she was not sick; she was all fine. It was a shock as to how she was just looking at my mother, and she passed on. And after a year, or lesser than a year, I was born. Her name was Sujata, and my mother couldn't forget her. Both my parents, they couldn't forget her, and that is the reason they gave me the same name. So they were very, very connected to that aspect, that it is the same girl who has come back, the same daughter which whom they had lost is back. And many people told them not to give the same name to the child, because in the Indian system, generally it is, we do not repeat the name of a dead child to a child who is born. But my parents went against it and said, no, it is she again, the same child who's come. But when this episode happened at age 12, my mother started contemplating changing my name. She thought that it is because the same name is put up, and maybe that term life is over, and maybe it would be a new child who's coming back to me. So she started contemplating the change of name because my behaviors were different, my abilities different, and the other part was I was totally disconnected into understanding my environment. It was more of me going into my shell, liking myself being alone, liking myself being in that meditative state. I was more living more in a Zen state rather than living in more of a materialistically grounded state. But one thing which was always told by my mother, she even tells me today, is that as a child also, I used to meditate a lot unknowingly. I used to sit in a place and go into that zone of meditation and start singing. My singing journey began at the age of 3. So she says that you were with that, and that is the reason she could bring me up in that style, which was not putting any beliefs into me. She tried to groom me the way I am. She did not put in any compulsions. Do this, do not do this. She never did that. So I would say I'm blessed to have, especially the mother who understood what I was.
Mhm. So, in your near death experience, it seems as if there was a greater awareness of what brings you joy and love. So, you said 4 days. So, what happened there? Can you describe that, the circumstances?
It was in the month of May when we have summer holidays in India in the month of May, June, and school reopens. I had contacted typhoid. So the doctor was called in home. He said, no need of getting hospitalized. She can be taken care of at home, and he would be treating me. So the doctor used to visit regularly and give the medications and test me. But one day when I started throwing up profusely, that time the doctor said we will have to give her the Sickville injection. It's a harmless injection which is given to children. So it's very safe even for little children to be getting that injection. To administering that is never a risk. So that is the reason he gave me, but my body rejected it and went into convulsions immediately. And I lost consciousness. And when the doctor saw this, he said, now we will have to rush her to the hospital. So I was taken to the hospital, the nearby hospital. But before reaching there, I had completely lost my consciousness. I could see myself, around me. I couldn't see me as me. I could see myself around me for a while. And then it was a third person seeing the body. So I could see the experience of all the people around me, especially my mother and my siblings, but I couldn't feel anything. And later on, when they put me on the stretcher, it was like completely me walking along. It was like I was floating around. And when the doctors tried everything possible to bring me back, it did not come back. The body was just like a body there. And that is the time when the doctor came and told my mother that we are giving, now we cannot do what can be done medically, just pray, and what can happen will happen. But my mother, having lost her daughter earlier, refused to accept this. And she stood up telling that now I want to change the hospital. It is against the rule to take a critically ill patient, move a patient from one hospital to another. But she said, I'm going to sign the papers that I am taking the risk, but I want to take her away. So it was somewhere in the late evening where she rushed me to another hospital. And there the doctor, Dr. Jacob, he started the treatment. Day 2, nothing happened. Day 3, nothing happened. So my mom did not lose hope. My siblings did not lose hope. But my dad was on his business trip then. So my mother tried to contact him. And those days we didn't have mobiles. So she tried to contact him wherever possible to tell him that, yes, this is the thing which has happened, and try to come back home. So at that point of time, the faith of the skill of the doctor and faith of my mother together, it brought me back on day 4. Now, what happened in those 4 days is a beautiful journey. Because when I had seen the body around me initially, and then when I started floating, there was no sense of emotion, though I was seeing the emotional drama which was happening there. There was no emotional feeling. I was feeling at peace, and I was looking. I was just a spectator. And later on the stretcher, that is the first time when I was parallelly moving with the body. And when I was parallelly moving with the body, it was a sense of expansiveness, a sense of connectedness, but at the same time, the expansiveness of the universe was felt. The lightness was felt. The connectedness was felt. And it was as if I could hear the voices, but I could feel the voices. I could sense the voices even far away. It was not trapped anywhere. And when it was time for me to come back into the body on the fourth day, the I would say my expansiveness felt the body is too small to be contained in. It felt that it is too small a vessel to be fit in and refused to come back. That was the point when I did not want to come back because it's such a beautiful space, such happiness, so much of peace. And not just that, you feel as if you are part of something which is a whole and you become the whole. And that expanded consciousness connects to each and every being, not just humans, to everything you feel you're part of it. So there is so much of love, so much of compassion, so much of unison that you can sense, and so much of understanding without words. You're just there and you can understand. So it was such a beautiful feeling. But when I was squeezed in again into the body, it was, my God, a struggle for me. And that is the reason, I guess, somewhere my brain, maybe some wiring had happened there. And after I came back, it was like, though I became very weak at that point, I was really weak at that point of time, but there was a lot of mental strength. There was a lot of strength in my heart. There was a lot of connection in my heart. So it was as if I was recharged, like we recharge our mobiles. It was something which had got recharged. And I came back, and after that, the battery did not die. It just got recharged every day with every breath. So I would say that it's a beautiful experience, but it should happen on its own. We cannot try doing that.
Yes.
So it is yes, it happens on its own. But when somebody's gone through that experience, if we are surrounded by people like this, then it feels so much of connection. When I meet another person who had such an experience, I feel like I'm connected. That person is from the same arena, from the same expansiveness. But one thing is very important. When we come back, there is so much within us that we have to pour it out. If we do not pour it out, we can have another setback physically, which I felt after a couple of years. So we need to keep giving.
We've just had a couple of people talk about this walk-in experience, which is a soul exchange. So as you came back into your body, for one thing, you were not aware of it being 4 days at all, were you? So you had to reacclimate to the world. Tell us about that, because you're saying some things, and you may not be aware of this, but you're saying things that would have walk-in people, you guys know who I'm talking about, say you might be a walk-in because of the great transformation. What was it like for you to come back in your body? Did you remember things? Was there confusion? What was that like?
When I came back, of course, it took almost a year for me to get acclimatized to my environment. One thing which was very, very, because what I like to eat, my taste was very different.
There you
My
go.
thought was, yes,
Girlfriend,
my
that's a
taste was very different.
walk-in. You might not have heard this term before. Have you heard this term?
Yes, my mom keeps telling that, but she doesn't want to accept it.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, she doesn't want to accept it. But I would say a walk-in, the reason being, whenever I do my shamanic journey, when I do my soul journeys, I love doing soul journeys to understand. I have a black hole at age 12. There is nothing, there's a black hole. And I
You
know.
you have a black hole at age 12. Oh my gosh, that just gave me goosebumps.
Yes, I have. But again, at age 7, if I go, I have a good memory of the soul. So what my mother says that, that practicing meditations from a very young age, so probably that connect somewhere would have been with the soul which came in again.
Well, welcome, soul, whoever you are. No, you know who you are. It could kind of be something that's really difficult or challenging to wrap our head around, but it's very fascinating. And the key point is, look at what you've done with your life and look at the thousands, tens of thousands of people that you're helping because something inside of you shifted to, I got this, I'm going forward, I'm going to focus. That's a fascinating story. Thank you so much for sharing. You said something about you have to pour it out. Does this mean you have to share this wisdom, or you're going to
Yes.
face, you said, health challenges or other challenges that will actually come and knock you on your head and say, come on, get with it, start sharing? What happened in your case?
In like I said, after this episode, then after I think it was around age 13, 14, somewhere I started getting into normal, but my thought processes were very different. Sometimes it would be way beyond what common man would understand, and I would feel left out, even if I would be with peers, would take up leadership roles because I've always been a person who was proactive. But then again, many people wouldn't understand. And sometimes it would be the older generation which would understand, but not my peers. And that age, you need your peers around you. You want to enjoy life with your peers. You know, that is the age when we are teenagers. We want to enjoy and experience everything. But for me, that didn't matter. For me, it was like waste of time. I would just say it was like waste of time. Why should I do this? And I started writing was always my hobby because my mom is a beautiful poetess. So it was always my habit, but I would write things which common man wouldn't understand. So my poetries were not appreciated. Paintings were thought to be very different. Like I remember when I was 14-year-old, from the school, we were told to go to the inter-school painting competition for children. So when I'd gone there, my painting was very different. It had a child in the womb connecting to a fairy in the heavens. The child in the womb connecting to the fairy in the heavens. And the judge who saw the painting said, "Who is this child?" And my art teacher, she said she always makes paintings like this, which we don't understand. Like, from where does she get these ideas? So I guess somewhere it starts coming out, and we have to pour it out.
Yes. All right. Fascinating. Well, not only do you have 5 doctorates and you're so well studied as a sound and spiritual scientist, you're a walk-in in whatever that means to you. Again, it's just this profound shift, whether that's a soul braid where a higher aspect of you came in, something went on there, your thought processes were different, something happened there, extraordinary. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. Really fascinating. So here we are. Sound has always been your comfort, and now you're stepping into it. You've been stepping into it. And the book, Power of Sound, is actually what assisted you in getting your first doctorate. So share with us your thesis in the Power of Sound. What's that all about? What did you learn?
Yes, sound always fascinated me, and especially the sound of Om. And I understood that there are around 108 types of Oms which we can chant, and that can heal and treat us. Then the Vedic hymns. I was always very interested in knowing the ancient wisdom of various countries, and finally settled down to understanding the Vedic system because that is the oldest. And when I was studying sound, the first thing which attracted, like I said, was the sound of Om. And what would be the music which could be associated to that? I got the Himalayan singing bowls because they give out the sound of Om. And the journey began when I went to Ladakh. Ladakh is a mountainous area in the tip of India, northern India. And when I went to the Elchi monastery, I saw an old lady selling bowls. There they have a lot of bowls and the crystals. They sell all these things. It is outside the monastery. So when I saw those, I just said, I really love and I want to buy them. And my husband said, we already burdened with so many, our luggage was already full and we had to go by flight. So he said, when you learn, you can buy them, not now. But my heart was set on that. And I wanted to buy those bowls. He said, well, we'll come again, or if it is this time, you will get it. And we came back to Mumbai, but my heart was already there. I wanted the bowls. I wanted the sound of the bowls. And I started Googling to check who can teach me singing bowls, Himalayan singing bowls in India and in Mumbai. and I found a teacher. So it was just like, I was just checking whoever I could lay my hands on. I was just going to start so I could get the bones. I could say, okay, now I've learned it. I want to get the bones. So I just started with the journey. But my inner core wanted more. And that is where I said, I need to study this. I have learned it. I went through the various levels they had. I did everything. But my inner core said, there's way beyond. This is just the beginning. So I kept everything ready with regards to my ability to learn and started my own thesis. Then looking for a guide became a problem because there were no specific guides who can guide you with regards to how to go about with the thesis of sound. Now, sound can be learned as a subject in physics, but I'm learning sound as a music, which will be connected to human anatomy, and that to be connected to understanding how it can be connected to the Himalayan singing bowls. So it was a different communication happening within me, telling me how I can do it. How can I go forward with the research? And I would say again, it was the higher energies which knew my purpose. They came into the play and things started rolling. I did my thesis. I tried to present it. First time people did not understand what I'm trying to do. They said, probably, is it working, not working? Is it esoteric? Is it something which is more metaphysical? Is it measurable? How will it give the results? So many questions. But luckily, I was invited into hospitals to see how I can work with sound on patients. And that is where I could actually see the results. So I would say it is all the universe which was already having its plan in place, making me the instrument to start the thesis. And it came out beautifully. Because all along, first patients were the oncology patients who were relapse patients. So when I could see the miraculous results, when even the medical doctor said nothing can be done now because he has only a few days to live. And with a few days to live, it is like you would just prefer to do anything to save the patient. And the patient's wife came to me through somebody not very close to me, but who had heard about me. And that person got well. He had his bone marrow transplant done, a 34-year-old man becoming healthy again and leading a normal life. So that gave me so much of confidence in my work.
Wow.
And that confidence made me help a number of patients in the oncology department. Then came in number of patients who were about to undergo surgeries. So I started working on the mental aspects, how sound can be used to calm the patients. So pre-surgery, one session, after the surgery, chemo sessions after, before. So we started having a lot of development seen, patients being happier. And my mission was joyous living with the power of sound. So I was living that purpose and the divine was helping me. Everything came together. The thesis came together. And then, of course, the universities do not have this special way of giving the sound and spiritual sciences specialty in the thesis. So then they told me as a PhD, then they said, yes, your work, what you have documented is so huge. We can give you honorary and we will see to it that it is recognized everywhere. So that is how my first doctorate came in.
Well, that is extraordinary research on the front lines in the oncology department, in the hospitals. Amazing that it all guided you there. So then sound, what would you say that sound was doing there? Is it centering? You said it was calming, but it really brings people into a presence, would you say?
Yes, it's very true because sound is a science. It is pure physics. It is not magical. Like often people tell me, you create magic, you have treated the people whom everybody had just washed their hands off. I say, no, these people have activated their self-healing mechanism. What I am doing is giving them specific frequencies. And when those frequencies connect to them, there is an alteration happening in the levels of consciousness. And with this alteration, they are able to activate the self-healing mechanism. And this activation allows them to heal themselves. So it is very important for all of us to know that we don't need much of intervention. We only need to know how to activate our self-healing mechanism. And sound is one of the ways which is scientifically proven that it can be done. So in my book, Although people, I have been titled with number of things which shows that miracle, I would say it's a science. Understand the science, understand the logic, use it in everyday life, because as humans, we have a right to live happily. This is not a time to suffer.
Beautiful. All right. Well, now we know why anyone was ever called to the Himalayan bowls or the crystal bowls or anything to do with sound in any way. That's a calling within us. And I love how you wanted those bowls so badly, and it really lit a fire within you. Again, it's a past life that you said, all right, if I need to go study first and learn it, I'm going to do it. And you did it. So, activating the self healing mechanism within ourself. You, in fact, teach on this. You're going to be teaching a webinar series that goes into the foundation of Vedic sound meditation for self healing. So, let's do a little mini introduction here on what you're going to cover in that course, because it goes into what you know about chants and the power of chants and the Vedic hymns.
Yes, there is a deep connect with the aspects of Vedic science, because Vedic systems are all scientific. They are spiritually scientific. Every word which we chant in the Vedic hymns is having a vibration which creates a reverberations into our body. Now, a simple thing as Om, when chanted properly, can create a lot of reverberation in our body, activating our organs. So, there are different ways of chanting Om based on the diseases. So, I also train people onto understanding the various diseases a human being can encounter and how one can keep themselves healthy by chanting the Om in that particular frame. So this comes as a deep science, also originating from the Vedic hymns and the Samaveda, that is about music. So music and science together has made the chants. And also to understand what I cover with regards to this introductory webinar of understanding the science of sound, how it works on the human anatomy, how one can practice sound to be healthy on a regular basis. We do not have to wait to get unwell and then go into activating a self-healing mechanism. So that is one of the most important aspects. And secondly, like you had mentioned about hypnosis, this hypnotic aspect comes automatically when we have the chant and the sound. So within a few seconds, when the right frequencies are administered, a person can go into a hypnotic state. And from there, when we start using our voice alongside, we start giving auto suggestions to ourselves. And those auto suggestions activates our brain cells and also our subconscious mind to understand what we truly are and what we are capable of. And when a person reaches that heightened state of deeper understanding of self, anything is possible, including healing the most traumatic diseases. Now, in the current times, the pandemic has instilled a lot of fear in the minds of people. So I would say Corona is not killing, it is the fear which is killing people. So if we have to look into that aspect, because the human body is made in such a way that it can continuously heal itself. Nothing external can kill us unless we allow that to kill us. And that allowance comes from our thought processes, from our mind. And if our mind is in fear or any negative emotion, the vibration of the body drops. And when the vibration of the body drops, all the external factors, negative elements, they start attacking and we start getting sick, or whatever we see today. People are encountering so many problems. It's only because of that. So we need to understand that there is an innate potential within us. We have to activate it. And that activation can help us fight anything in this world. So as humans, we are very powerful. But somewhere, this power, which is given to us in the form of a mind, can become the culprit as well. So silencing the mind, putting it into a state of alpha, putting it into a state of deep relaxation, going slowly into the theta, and finally resting in the delta will enable a person to completely activate, or maybe I could say to a rebirthing time, when you can create a new you. In fact, I use it regularly. I use sound regularly. I use the chants regularly. I have noticed one thing, that many people, they ask me, is it something special that you have been doing? And I tell them there's nothing special we need to be doing. Just start living. And living happens only when we are in the present. If we are not in the present, we are not living. We are just visiting the past or sitting and worrying about the future. Then where are you living? Living can happen in the present, and sound can take you in the present within a few seconds.
Beautiful. Yes. Let's do a little experience to assist us in shifting brain states, relaxing, and suggesting in this hypnotic state.
So we can have the start with the Om, so we center ourselves. So what we could do is probably just first is the intention. Do I want to center myself? Am I prepared to do it? And am I ready to receive what comes in? If these three things are very clear, it's easier to go. However, if you do not have time to set the intention, but you just want to receive, you can just say, I'm open to receiving. Enough. We don't have to do anything else. Open to receiving. And then sit very comfortably. So with your spine straight, take a deep breath in and gently breathe out. Once more, a deep breath in and gently breathe out. Once more, a gentle deep breath in and breathe out. Continue to inhale and exhale. Feel your mind getting calm and relaxed. You may chant the Om, or you may listen to me chanting the Om. Om. Now we bring our hands together in the Namaste position at our chest level. This is the point when we ask the attention to be centered in our soul and the heart chakra. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya. I am the Atma. I am the Parabrahma. I am the universe. Aham Brahmasmi. Shift your focus to the center of your heart as you inhale and exhale. Continue breathing in and out, gently and smoothly. Remind yourself as you tell, I am strong, I am powerful, I am lovable, I am harmonious. I am the Aham Brahmasmi. The universe resides within me. Now we will have a different notation of the Om, which is going to activate your crown chakra. Chidananda Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Shivoham, Shivoham, Hari Om, Hari Om. Now slowly bring your focus back into your heart chakra, allowing yourself to activate each and every cell of your body to reverberate in the vibration of the cosmic energies, heightening your awareness, allowing you to be in the state of receiving, releasing all those blockages from your cellular level, making place for the sound vibrations to reverberate, create a new you from your cellular level, giving more power, love, and harmony at your mind, body, and the spirit levels. Gently inhale and exhale. Bring your mind, your body, and your spirit back into your physical consciousness. Inhale, gently exhale, center yourself. And with a deep inhalation and exhalation, slowly open your eyes. Namaste.
Thank you for bringing us into our hearts. That was really beautiful and soothing, and we already feel the great shift within us. I would love for you to share on your course and what we're going to cover, because you really go into it. You go into some of the definitions of the science, the Vedic science of each sound, the types of sounds, and really the science of mantras.
This course is the foundation of sound and mantras. So we have a specific bowl made for self-healing mechanism. So this bowl is what they will be using, and people who do not have the bowls can use their voice. So there are many people who may not get their bowls because now we cannot export due to the pandemic. There's not much of courier service happening, but they can use their voice. So what they will be learning is understanding themselves. The first lesson I teach is how to breathe, because often we are not breathing the right way. Second thing, what they would know is, what they would learn in the sound is they will learn the fundamentals of sound. What are different types of sound, the differences in sound, how sound affects our mind, body, and the spirit. So this is going to be the theory part which they are going to learn. They are also going to learn how to understand the space they live in. What are the sounds around us which affects us, and how we can clear those sounds from being into our beingness, let them not hamper our beingness. So wherever we are, how can we keep the sound within us active all the time and in the musical form so that we are not hampered by the environment? They are also going to learn about how to clear the space in their house. After the environment, we need to know about the space in the house, because every house has a life. The earth, Mother Earth, has a life and she has a vibration. So understanding the 5 elements of life, and the first element is earth, which they have to work on. After that, they are going to learn about the various chakras, the sounds of each chakra, how to chant the mantras for the chakras, how to take the breath work for chakras. And as they progress, they're going to learn the practical usage of the bowl, how they can use the bowl in their regular life, how to heal themselves of small diseases, which are normal, like it could be migraine or arthritis, back pain, all these small problems which are encountered in everyday life, they can handle it by themselves. They need not go anywhere for that. So these are the various things which they can learn. And finally, how to ionize your water with the bowl, because I mentioned these bowls are specifically made for healing and treatment. So no need of going to a spring to get your clean, pure water. You can create your alchemy water using the bowl. And this water can be given to plants, to human beings, to your pets. You can give to anybody who needs healing. So these are the various things which they will be learning, along with various protocols. I give a lot of protocols, though it is a foundation. Many people come to me and say, you give so much that it looks like we are doing a big course all by itself. I say, no, this is just the fundamentals. What took me so many years, more than 4 decades to understand, I've made it into something which is more comprehensive, more understandable, more scientific, and more enjoyable. So there have been children as young as 12 who have qualified as being professional sound healers for themselves. So yes, you can use it. It is very simple. Life is basically simple. Universe is simple. So in simplicity lies the whole of the enjoyment of life. So they will be learning a lot of things. And finally, most important thing, connecting to the higher self. That is, I connect to my higher self, they connect to their higher self, and that is where the initiation begins. Now here, the initiation process is very different, because when I went to Nepal, there was a monastery where I was living. I used to see all the teachers there, their Rinpoches there, performing the rituals, and I would be fascinated by this. And the best part was I would see small children following the complete discipline, which I had not seen so much in my life. Being more in the head, I was not very disciplined, I would say, with new things coming up, new creativity things coming up. I couldn't stick to very, very strong disciplines. But during research, I was very disciplined. But here I saw that the children were very disciplined. The Rinpoches were so disciplined. And I somehow got attracted to one particular chant, which they used to chant over and over again. And every morning I used to wake up to just look at what they are chanting and start mumbling. I'm not a Buddhist, but the way Buddhist chants started getting into me was as if I have been a Buddhist in my lifetimes, probably some lifetime. In fact, even when I had gone to Ladakh at the hemp monastery, I felt I had come there earlier. I knew the place, I knew everything.
Wow.
So I guess it was a memory which I was getting activated into. And on the last day, we stayed there for 5 days. On the last day when we had to leave, my husband was sitting in the car. We were about to leave for the airport. I told him I need to go into this monastery and listen to that person again who was chanting. I had not seen him. I could only hear the chants every day. So when I went there, I was with my shoes, with my backpack, because we were going back home. And there I saw the Rinpo. I saw one person, an elderly person, but he was quite huge, unlike the other people who I normally see. Or normally even the people in Nepal whom I might see, I'd never seen anybody so huge. Very big, very well built. And he was performing some rites in a small room, which was not part of the monastery prayer part. And when I went there, I was just standing and looking from out. He said, come in. And when I went, I was hesitant because I had my shoes on. I did not know whether I should take off my shoes and go in, because it's a small room. It was not something big. And he was like occupying almost like 70-80% of the space. So I was just wondering whether there would be space for me to go in. But when I went in, something changed a lot, which I completely forgot what I was or where I was. And later on, when I came out, I was still in trance. I sat in the car, I was still in trance. After coming home, I realized something had changed in me. But when I tried to call up the person with whom we were staying there, was there somebody so huge there? Somebody very big? Was there a person there? He said, no, there was nobody who had come there. In our monastery, there was no such person who had come. So that is the time I somehow felt probably, first thing came to my mind was it my imagination? Is it something which I was thinking in my head? Was it something real? But other part, I understood that something in me had shifted. So understanding the life of Buddha, understanding the way of thinking somewhere started connecting to me. And that is where the whole aspect of mantras of Buddhism also came into me. And I would say this initiation, I pass it on to all my students. So even on the online sessions, I see to it, I pass on this initiation to them. And I give them a particular mantra, which is for them. Like how I have received, I would like to give that to them. So yes, in the course, there is an initiation. And after the initiation, most of my students say that there is a major shift in our lives. So I don't know, it is the higher self somewhere guiding us to do things. And initiation is an important aspect of this particular workshop, which we have.
Thank you so much for this. The stories that you share are really amazing. I mean, that being that you witnessed. Yeah. Well, then thank you for creating such a beautiful place online for everyone for their own personal initiations and their own enhanced awareness of sound and science and spirituality. Very, very good of you to share all of your wisdom in this beautiful setting.
Generally, I take this course only thrice a year because there are other courses also which I conduct, which regards to spiritual sciences. So there is a Vedic manifestation sorcery which happens. Now, the sorcery word, people think it's something to do with magic. No, it is a sorcery that is coming from the source. So awakening ourselves to become those magnets which we really want to manifest in our lives, just attracting it rather than spending our life working. We are here to create experiences, attract things into our lives, and not work towards, actually not work. Hard work is not needed if we know the science of manifestation. So I teach that science of manifestation happening during the Diwali time. That is in the mid-November is when this workshop is conducted. So there's a major spiritual shift which takes place, and everything is done with sound. I take up sound, the different sounds, the different mantras, the singing bowls, everything to put together, and then we work on this, because unless and until our vibrations don't change, nothing can change. So we work on that particular space. And I also have the breathwork workshop, which is with regards to breathwork for our subconscious mind activation. This is something which has been used by the yogis in the Himalayas. And though I'm not a yogi, somewhere this knowledge came to me. And in the form of meditation, this knowledge came. And when I started speaking about it, there was one yogi whom I had met some time back. And he said, this is exactly what we talk about. And this is called as a siddhi. So I also teach this particular concept of how to activate ourselves through breath. Then there are also the workshops which regards to understanding how to activate each and every chakra in the cell in the body. Generally, we know the chakras are the 7 main chakras, or they are the 14 chakras, or they are the 27 chakras, but there are trillions of chakras in our body. Activation of the trillions of chakras in the body is one of the very, very profound workshops. Of course, to reach there, a person needs to be understanding the basics, fundamentals of self-healing. They need to be understanding how to raise their heightened state of consciousness, how to be connected, how to be initiated, how to take the steps further into their lives, how to live the life of that discipline, which will bring in these vibrations to activate each and every chakra in the body. And of course, there is shamanism, the Vedic shamanism, which talks about how we can activate our consciousness on a regular basis. So this is unlike the shamanism we hear about, because this is purely Vedic. There are a lot of hymns, there are a lot of mantras, lot of breath work, lot of sound, which is being put together to allow us to go into the deep states of awakened consciousness and heal ourselves. So yes, there are huge lot of workshops, and to be precise, last year I had 307 workshops, all online, on the science of sound and spiritual sciences. So that was a major thing, and I did not realize that I was working almost 20 hours a day without getting tired. And every time I would say, next is this, I need to be doing this, because I guess that is what the world needed. So it was through me, it was happening. I could say it was not I doing it, it was just happening through me. So all are welcome, and there's a beautiful tribe which comes together. All the participants from across the world, we come together as beautiful souls. We do not come as human beings, and that connection is forever.
Absolutely. And everyone who joins, it's they're a piece of the puzzle. They're meant to be there. Thank you so much for all of this information. This course that we're offering here is the Foundation of Vedic Sound Meditation for Self-Healing, and we invite our viewers and listeners to sign up. We're excited for that. The dates are here on this webpage as well. So thank you, Sujata. This has been amazing. Your story is amazing, and we're really looking forward to learning from you in all the wisdom that you've learned and acquired and are now sharing.
It's really the beautiful world which is made for us. So we should be living to our fullest. The whole motto of whatever I do is the happiness I receive when I give. Like I said, we have to pour it out. There is so much. So each human being has a right to be happy. We are here for happiness. So sound is one of the important aspects, which is proven, which is scientific, which is time tested. You can use it. No time to despair, no time to cry. Just enjoy life to the fullest. Make the most of what you have, learn, invest in yourself. That is what comes with you. All of you, Om Shanti, and enjoy a beautiful life.
Thank you, beautiful Dr. Sujata Singhi, singing to our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you.